history, some conflicts have flown under the radar, yet they disrupted the world's balance. Today, we're exploring the top 10 lesser-known wars that silently shaped history. Buckle up, these forgotten clashes sparked revolutions, redrew maps, or altered the course of great powers. Local battles with global consequences, overlooked struggles that changed everything. Get ready to uncover a hidden side of history, where a single gunshot shook the planet.
If you love history and untold facts, subscribe and hit the bell. Here we go with the ranking of forgotten but decisive conflicts.
10. The Trojan War. Imagine a war sparked by a love story. Legend has it that Helen, the wife of the king of Sparta, is abducted by the Trojan prince Paris. The result? Thousands of Greeks raise an army to retrieve her. 10 years of siege, heroes like Achilles and Hector, epic battles, but above all, a legendary ruse, the Trojan horse, a booby-trapped gift filled with Greek soldiers that brings about the city's downfall. But behind the myth, some historians believe there was a real economic conflict. Troy controlled a strategic point in maritime trade. It might not have been a matter of the heart, but a question of power. A seemingly romantic war, but perhaps one of the first trade wars in history. 9. The Mamluk Revolt. Imagine slaves who seize power and overthrow their master. In 1250, in Egypt, the Mamluks, former Turkish slaves trained for war, have had enough of obeying. The Ayyubid Sultan dies, the Crusaders arrive, and power falters. The Mamluks, led by Baybars, seize the opportunity. They assassinate the new sultan and take control. These are elite soldiers, trained from childhood, skilled strategists, and formidable on horseback. They defeat the Crusaders, repel the Mongols, and establish their own dynasty. Egypt then falls under Mamluk rule for over 2 centuries, proof that even the lowest cogs in the military machine can topple an entire civilization. 8. The Haitian Revolution. 1791. Saint-Domingue, a French colony, churns out sugar at a relentless pace thanks to slavery. But that year, an uprising erupts. Initially seen as a mere slave revolt, it quickly becomes a true nightmare for the colonists. Leading it, Toussaint Louverture, a former slave and formidable strategist, he masterfully wields both diplomacy and warfare, even turning alliances between France, Spain, and Great Britain to his advantage. When Napoleon sends 40,000 troops to regain control, the French army flounders. Between guerrilla tactics, disease, and the insurgents' unwavering resolve, nothing works. In 1804, Haiti becomes the world's first free black republic. A humiliated colonial empire, a crushed army, and a shaken world order. This forgotten conflict shattered a myth, the invincibility of European powers over their colonies.
If you want to dive deeper into this revolution that changed history, I recommend Avengers of the New World by Laurent Dubois. It's more than just a historical account. It's an immersion into the hopes, betrayals, and struggles of a people who dared to topple an empire. Clear, engaging, and accessible even if you're not an expert. This book traces how Haiti became a global symbol of freedom. If this story surprised you, this book will captivate you. The link is in the description. Read it to better understand how this conflict changed everything. But Haiti isn't an isolated case. On the other side of the world, another, even bloodier uprising is about to shake the established order.
7. The Taiping Revolt. 1850. Imperial China is faltering. Famines, corruption, poverty, and a man claiming to be the younger brother of Jesus Christ. His name is Hong Xiuquan. He decides to launch a crusade against the Qing dynasty. His rebellion quickly gains momentum. He promises equality, the end of privileges, a society free of corruption. Within a few years, he controls a vast part of southern China, his army, millions of fanatical followers, ready to die for him. The battles are fierce, relentless. Cities change hands, rivers become battlefields. For 14 years, China descends into chaos. The conflict claims between 20 and 30 million lives. It is one of the deadliest conflicts in history, yet rarely mentioned. This revolt permanently weakened China, hastened the fall of the Qing, and paved the way for foreign interventions. A forgotten war, but with colossal consequences. 6. the Sepoy Revolt. In 1857, in India, the native soldiers of the British Army, the Sepoys, received new cartridges. The problem? They're greased with cow and pig fat. A minor detail. No, it's a direct insult to Hindu and Muslim faiths. Outrage grows, refusals pile up. London ignores the warnings. The result? The army turns against its officers. This sparks a massive revolt. Entire cities rise up. Civilians join the fight. The conflict spirals out of control. Massacres on both sides, bloody sieges, brutal reprisals. A rebellion that could have been avoided, but colonial arrogance turned it into total war. The repression will be ruthless, but the lesson is clear. The British Empire is not untouchable. This uprising will force the Crown to take direct control of India, a cultural mistake with immense political consequences. According to modern historians, estimates range from 800,000 to 1 million deaths. 5. Paraguayan War. In 1864, in the heart of South America, Paraguay, a small country ruled with an iron fist by Francisco Solano Lopez, launches into a war against three giants, Brazil, Argentina, and Uruguay. The casus belli, Brazil's intervention in the Uruguayan Civil War, perceived by Lopez as a threat to regional balance and Paraguayan interests. Confident in the strength of his army and convinced of his nation's destiny, Lopez attacks, unaware that he has just signed his country's death warrant. The war drags on, battles pile up, and Paraguay, isolated, exhausts itself. Facing it, far larger, better equipped armies, soon backed by immense resources. The result, a human catastrophe. Nearly 70% of Paraguay's population perishes, with a majority of adult men. The country is devastated, its population decimated, its future shattered. It's one of the deadliest conflicts in proportion in modern history, yet little known. A war sparked by pride, waged to the point of absurdity, and which nearly wiped a country off the map. 4. The Boshin War. In 1868, Japan stands at a crossroads. For centuries, the Tokugawa shogunate has ruled the country, isolated from the rest of the world. But a new generation seeks to modernize Japan, open it to the West, and restore power to the emperor. The clash is inevitable. Two visions of the nation collide: tradition versus progress. The Boshin War breaks out. On one side, the shogun's supporters, samurai loyal to the old order. On the other, the imperial forces, armed in the European style, backed by ambitious young lords. The battles are fierce, but the shogunate's forces are outmatched. Their way of warfare, rooted in the past, cannot withstand modern rifles, imported tactics, or the logistics of a new era. Within a year, the emperor reclaims power. The shogunate collapses. It is the end of one world, and the beginning of another. This short but decisive war paves the way for the Meiji era, industrialization, and Japan's transformation into a global power. 3. Russo-Japanese War. It's 1904, and Russia and Japan are vying for control over Korea and Manchuria. Moscow believes it can easily crush this small Asian empire. But Tokyo strikes first, a surprise attack on Port Arthur. Without a declaration of war, the Russians are caught off guard. And this is just the beginning. On land and at sea, the Japanese rack up victories. Discipline, modern tactics, and effective leadership, the imperial army outclasses the poorly prepared and poorly led Russian forces. The climax, the Battle of Tsushima. In a single day, the Russian fleet, sent from Europe, is almost entirely destroyed. It's a historic humiliation, but the consequences go beyond the battlefield. In Russia, the defeat sparks riots, a failed revolution, and severely weakens the Tsarist regime. And for the world, it's a shock. An Asian power has just defeated a major European nation. It's a sign of a 20th century that will be completely transformed. 2. The Spartacist Uprising in Germany, January 1919. Germany has just lost World War I. The Kaiser abdicates. The empire collapses. The country is on its knees, the people starving, and anger erupts. In this chaos, a Marxist revolutionary movement seeks to seize power, the Spartacists. Led by Rosa Luxemburg and Karl Liebknecht, they call for a proletarian revolution, as in Russia. Strikes, demonstrations, occupations, Berlin is ablaze. But the Provisional Social Democratic government panics. It calls on the Freikorps, ultra-nationalist former soldiers, brutal and hostile to communists. The uprising is crushed in blood. Rosa and Karl are arrested, beaten, and executed. Outcome: the Weimar Republic is born in violence and division. The German left is split for decades, weakened against the rise of extremes. This failed insurrection leaves a political void. And in that void, a few years later, a certain Adolf Hitler will seize the opportunity to take power. 1. The Rif War. After World War I, Spain seeks to strengthen its control over northern Morocco, but it underestimates local resistance. A Berber leader, Abdul-Krim, unites the Rif tribes and launches a guerrilla war against colonial forces. In 1921, at Annual, the Spanish army suffers a humiliating defeat, 10,000 dead, positions abandoned, and weapons captured. France, concerned for its own colonies, joins the conflict. But despite reinforcements, colonial troops struggle against mobile fighters who know the terrain perfectly. It takes chemical weapons, overwhelming superiority, and total war to crush the Rif resistance. Outcome: the Rif is subdued, but Abdul-Krim becomes a global symbol of anti-colonial struggle. Leaders like Ho Chi Minh and Ben Bella will remember him.
Thank you for watching this video until the end. If you learned something or simply enjoyed the content, please consider leaving a like. It's a simple gesture for you, but it helps me tremendously in delivering high-quality work. Your support makes all the difference. I invite you to explore the other videos on the channel. They might captivate you just as much. See you soon for a new video, and don't forget, history never dies as long as we keep telling it.